Cabochon, 10 bar those, overdue ground.
And Coleridge was a little bit slow to go. Watching the monitor with you before we get to go through the first quarter mile or so. Supreme Choice is up there early. Also Welshman, normally a front runner, different kettle of fish front running here than it is at Chester for the Chester Cup, but it is indeed Welshman who leads and requested through on the inside. These are the 1-2. With Bardolph settled third, Audla Bell on the outside 4, and just in behind these comes Jack Button, and Cars are not that far away. At this stage, looking for Vintage Crop, and it's just got about 4 or 5 behind. Well positioned down the field at this stage. Welshman leading, requested in second. Then nearest to us in those blue and white colours, that's Cowser and Audla Bell in the leading 4, followed through by Hytham and Muse holding a position, and they're all effectively quite closely grouped as they go to the first half mile. Our Say Lad is in mid-division on the inside, Cabochon tucked away mid-division, and they've come into Rawley's view now.
Yes, Graham, they've covered just over 3.5 furlongs. It's Welshman still who leads the Cesarewitch field. Welshman out in front from Requested, well placed in second. Also up amongst the leaders now, Audla Bell. After them, Muse is prominent, so too Smiling at Strangers. The back markers at this stage are 3 Wells and finally Coleridge. But as they come now down towards the end of the first 3/4 of a mile, Welshman over against the rails in the lead from Bardolph, runner-up last year. Also with those 2 leaders is Corzar. They're followed by Requested in 4. 5 is Muse, and then in 6th place Smiling at Strangers. After these are Say Lad and then Mulhouse. Supreme Choice is midfield together with the favourite for Ireland, Vintage Crop, and after them comes Jack Button. They've covered the first mile now, and Welshman over on the rails. On the outside is Corzar. Between the 2 is still Bardolph running a blinder. And they're now coming inside the final 1.25 miles with Corzar and Welshman disputing it still. After those 2, and very close is Audla Bell. Audla Bell in 3rd, and then 4 Requested. And they're now coming down to halfway in the Tote Cesarewitch with Corzar in front. Corzar 1, and then Bardolph 2, Welshman 3, Requested 4. After them 5 is Haytham, 6 is Audla Bell losing ground. After that one, our Say Lad was Smiling at Strangers, Jack Button, Mulhouse, and then Supreme Choice followed by Farat, then Quick Ransom, who is on a hat-trick but has a £4 penalty. After him Cabochon, and then the favourite for Ireland, Vintage Crop, the back markers, Lord Hasty with a Coleridge, and then last year's 33-1 when it goes south. He's got a lot to do. The last 3 are 3 Wells, Sharjat, and finally, last of all in 24th place is Black Sapphire. They're on the way down towards the final 5 furlongs now of the Cesarewitch, with the runners still plenty closely grouped together, with Bardolph the leader. Audla Bell is coming again, Farat and Welshman still there. Only just over half a mile to go, and it's now back to Graham.
And Muse isn't that far away either. Vintage Crop, that's a horse with a noseband, getting significantly closer, really having to stay on now. Bardolph going for home, Audla Bell, Farat in the grey colours on the far side. Specificity in the blue cap comes with a run, drat it. And then behind these comes the Vintage Crop ridden along, and they've come past the 3, and as they race down past the bushes, it's Audla Bell and Farat and Specificity, and then comes Vintage Crop with just in behind these Bardolph. Coleridge in the orange cap starts to pick up. Supreme Choice with a run. Our Say Lads behind these. Quick Ransom won't be winning, but it's the favourite Vintage Crop going into the lead as they go past the furlong marker, and the favourite's going to win this in no uncertain fashion, going 4, 5, 6 clear up towards the line. They're strung out a furlong between first and last, and it's Vintage Crop for Ireland, lands a massive gamble, and Vintage Crop takes it from Specificity in second. Farat was third, Coleridge 4, Smiling at Strangers 5, then came Bardolph, followed by Jack Buttons and Audla Bell, and Quick Ransom and Go South and Muse and Our Say Lad, and Cabochon and 3 Wells, and then Mulhouse and Kazar and Supreme Choice, and Black Sapphire, and behind these Sharjat, a Majestic Image at Hytham, and Requested was one of the last to finish. And so the result then of this, the Tote Cesarewitch, it's been landed by the gamble. Number 2, Vintage Crop has won it, completing that double for both the Cambridgeshire and the Cesarewitch, and it's the second horse home. That's number 4, Specificity, and it's very close for 3rd place with the 3rd horse going to number 16, Farat, and it's close for 4, I should say, with Coleridge in the orange cap. That's probably just got 4th, but at this stage it's Walter Swinburne who'd bided his time on Vintage Crop in the colours of Dr. Michael Smurfit, trained in Ireland by Dermot Weld, ridden by Walter Swinburne, bided his time at the rear of the field, and this son of Roussillon out of a Bustino mare certainly saw the trip out very well indeed, and he's come home Under Walter Swinburne, just shaking the reins at him to land, as I say, a massive gamble. This time, a week ago, he was a 25 to 1 shot, and all the good judges, all the good handicappers wanted to be on, and that's the result. And Walter Swinburne lands a Cesarewitch.
Well, that's the way to land a gamble decisively. Absolutely no doubt about it, from a long way out. 5 to 1 was the starting price. Well, you can't complain about that. Bardolph's run a fine race, second last year, still in front at this stage, and so has Specificity, and so has Farat. I had lunch with Farat's owner, Lady Swathling. She didn't tell me she was going to run as well as this, but she was full of hope. And Farat's run a marvellous race, but just about now, neither Specificity nor Farat nor any of the others can do anything as the noseband of Vintage Crop looms ahead and goes further and further.
Yeah, he's won nicely in the end, all right, but Walter Swinburne certainly had to work hard on him, and he didn't look as though he was even going to get there to me from the 2 to the 1 marker, but as they hit the rising ground, he really stuck his head out and won nicely in the end. Didn't win as easy as John Cherry did if you watched the morning line this morning, but he's won nicely enough, and as you said, landed a real gamble.